Everybody, ciao a tutti. Welcome to my channel. My name is Rebecca Bailey and I do videos about Italy because I currently live in the north of Italy in Torino, and I do health and wellness videos. Anyway, let's get into this video. So this video is about the cons of living in Italy. To be honest with you, I think this applies to anybody that lives abroad, anybody that lives in a different country. This applies to them because I think we all kind of feel the same things. But anyway, number one, I've written down a few points, so maybe 10 points. So I'm going to look down at my notes. Number one, let's talk about friends and family. When you move here, you just be prepared in some ways to not have such close relationships with your friends and family. So for example, I'm in Italy and my family are in the UK. It's like, obviously there's a geography difference. So, you know, inevitably sometimes you kind of drift away from your friends and everybody just getting on with their own life, and maybe you may become an afterthought. And I think in this period you really do see who is really down for you, who is really your friend, who is really who they say they are. Okay, this is the time when your eyes open. All right, so that's number one. So you know, it can be a bit disappointing, you know, especially when you expect certain things, certain friendships, and you expected something different. It doesn't turn out to be that way. But you know, everybody's got their life and everybody's going to get on with their life. You know, they didn't ask you to move abroad. You decided it by yourself. So yeah, just gotta be strong and get on with it. Number two is the food. Okay, guys. Everybody has their foods that they like in their country. You've been brought up with it, and you like what you like. You have your comfort foods. You know, maybe it's beans on toast. You know, I like to good beans on toast. And then when I came here, they do beans on toast and stuff like this. Some British foods, but a lot of the time it's difficult to find where to find these foods, and a lot of the time they're expensive. Also, you might make this type of food your home food. For example, maybe like my favorite is apple crumble, and apple crumble with some custard, for example. And you have this enthusiasm for this apple crumble and custard, and you make it maybe for your boyfriend or your friends in Italy, and they're just like, and they just don't understand it. They just don't share that love for your food, just like maybe you don't share the love for whatever food that they like. So you know, sometimes it can be a little bit disheartening, but it's something that you just get used to. The food is different. And you know, yeah, I think that I relate sometimes, like, you know, when I used to go home from work, maybe in the UK, have like a hot chocolate with some McVitie's biscuits and dip it in, and then, you know, eat it. And that feeling made me feel very cozy and comfortable. But you just have to find something else, guys. All right. Point number three. Living here can be very exhausting, especially if you've moved to a different country that speak a different language, for example. So when you're outside, it's just like boom, 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 boom. Information coming from different places, different languages, trying to translate. Bus ticket. So everything is just like double the work sometimes, you know, just double the work, guys. And you just need to get used to that. And you might find yourself just being very, very tired for no reason. And that's the reason why. So my advice would be just to take things slowly. So for example, if you're just going to go to the bank when you first move there, just go to the bank. Don't try to put lots of activities into one day, because it can be very, 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 very tiring. And, you know, it can just make you just generally exhausted and sad. And we don't want that. Okay, let's talk about making friends. We talked about friends before. Let's talk about making some friends. I feel like, for me, making friends has not been the easiest thing to do since I've been here. And I find that a lot of the time with my, sorry, let me adjust my mic. I find that a lot of the time here with a lot of the expats, a lot of my friends that I have here are from different countries. They're not Italian. And yeah, they're not Italian. They're all from maybe this place, that place, this place, but not Italy. And you know, I think it's quite sad, because I know that people always associate and say, oh, Italy, you know, people are very, very friendly. And I think people are friendly, but you have to people have to really warm up in some cases. And people have to warm up to you, and then it becomes something. But somebody needs to make that initial step. And if you are new in a country, you're unlikely to make that new step because you're new. So let me give you an example. I worked at a certain workplace, and I was the only English teacher in this place. And it was a big company, and I was going in there to teach business English. And every day I would walk and do the same walk and walk into the building. And I had my own office, I had my own space. But nobody, everybody saw me because I looked different and I am the English teacher, and everybody knew I was teaching English. But nobody came out of their way to say to me, are you okay? How are you settling in? Do you know where the canteen is? Do you know where the canteen is? Do you want something? Do you need me to help you settle in? And for me, I found that very disheartening and quite sad, because I know when I was in the UK, I met many Spanish people, many Italian people, and anything I could do to help them, even on public transport or whatever, because I know what it is like to be in a different country, I always stop to help. So, you know, I found it a little bit disheartening that I worked there for maybe 6 months, and 6 to 9 months I think I worked there for, and nobody ever came up to me. And I know it's not necessarily for bad reasons or it makes them bad people. It's just that, again, it's the language barrier, and a lot of people are scared to talk English. They're scared to talk to me in English. So I know it was that. Again, you have to get a thick skin and, you know, move on. And sometimes even if you do talk to them, as I said, they are scared to talk to you or a little bit frightened. So, you know, you're not going to get much conversation out of them. Yeah. When I was also living in London, I found it wasn't the easiest place to make friends. I think sometimes as we get older, as people get older, they have their friendship groups, and anything extra is just extra work. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about assertive. I find here I have to be a little bit more assertive than I would generally be, than I am in my own country. I feel like I have to get my point across. Sometimes I feel like I have to get the attention of somebody for whatever reason. Maybe, for example, I want to be served at the till and the lady's on the phone, on her mobile phone, and she's talking, or just something like that. So sometimes I have to be assertive and say, hello, excuse me, can you serve me, please? Something like this. Yeah, you need to have a thick skin and you need to be assertive. The word of this video is thick skin. All right, shops and things open at different times, guys, and that is just it. You need to plan ahead and look ahead to see what times things open. You know, sometimes you might plan a trip or you want to do something. You might want to go to the bank, appointment at the bank, and you go there and the bank is closed for 2 hours. But then you go to another bank and that bank might be open, or the hours are just sometimes different. Some shops might open at 9 o'clock, some shops open at 10 on the same street. It's just, you just have to adjust. It can be very complicated because I guess I'm used to something a little bit different. When the shops open at 9 o'clock, they open at 9 o'clock and they close at 7 o'clock, and that's just it. But it's just not the same rules, so you just have to adjust and not get upset. All right. Okay, so another con is the job situation. Like being here in Italy, if you're going to come here, you just need to know that you're going to, majority of people come here and they teach English. And, you know, if you look at some of my other videos, please go and check out my other videos about my experience of working in Italy as an English teacher. So when you come here, a lot of people are going to teach English. So, and that's not necessarily the job that they had back in the UK or back wherever in their own country they are. But once you do arrive here and you're in your job for 1 year or 9 months, and maybe you're an ambitious person, you kind of start to think, oh, okay, I'm here now, and what do I do next? And you might find yourself a little bit stuck because maybe the language, you don't speak the language well enough, or there's just not enough jobs here. There's not really enough jobs here for the Italians. So never mind me as an expat, as a foreigner, to come here to take certain jobs. So things are just limited, and you might find yourself to be a little bit disheartened and a little bit stuck because you can't progress in your field or in your area. So no matter how you look at it, I think when you move to a different country, sometimes you are taking a step back in some ways, especially in the job area. Especially if you come to be here to be a teacher, you're taking a step back, and maybe even in terms of money as well, for sure, you're taking a step back. And I think teaching here can only get you to a certain place. If you're going to be a teacher here, you might be a teacher here for 10 years without any progression. And that can easily happen. So if you're somebody that's quite ambitious and you want to do more with your life, after a certain amount of time, maybe 1 year, you might start to think, was this the right idea? Or maybe you need to start thinking out of the box and start to think, okay, I need to maybe start a YouTube channel like I have, or try to find different streams of income. You got to get quite creative. And, it can be stressful, because sometimes I think if I was back in my own country, what job would I be doing? Before I left, I was in like a managerial position. What would I be doing now? How much money would I be on? So you start to think them type of things, which I guess is it's quite normal, I'm guessing. So you just have to be quite mindful of that. And then to add to one of the last points is that it takes a long time. It takes a while before you can actually settle in to any country, in my opinion. You have to give yourself minimum of, I would say, 2 years before you actually are settled in, because everything takes time. You're starting from the beginning. You're just like a baby, guys. You're just literally like a baby, taking everything in. And just don't be too hard on yourself. If in one day you make a little bit of progress, tap yourself on the back for making progress. You don't know how difficult it is until you actually are here, and you see that everything is different, from what you eat, how you eat, how you talk, how to pronounce the alphabet. Everything is different, guys. So you just have to be mindful and give yourself some credit. And that's basically it. So I think I've written all of my major points that I have. I don't think I have anything else to add, and if I do, I'll make another video on it. And if you have any requests for videos on Italy or anything on my channel, please let me know in the comment section.